Good evening and welcome to a CanHammer battle report. This is going to be a voice-over battle report where we record our game and we run it through at about 4 to 6 times speed and then we commentate over it. Today's game is going to be Stormcast Eternals versus Destruction. Now, my name is Chris and I am playing the Stormcast and my opponent is Jeff playing Destruction. So we'll go over the Stormcast army first. For my battle line, I actually took 4 units of Adjudicators. I only needed 3, but I took 4. Then I have a Hammer Strike force with a unit of Prosecutors and 2 units of Paladins. They're Retributors with Star Soul Maces. I also have Douglas the Gryph-hound, my Celestant Prime, who everybody on the internet seems to hate, but he does wonderful things for me. I also took a Knight Velexor and a Lord Celestant to give me +1 to hit in close combat. And then I have a bonus unit of Prosecutors that are just going to fly around and cause trouble. Now my allegiance is Stormcast Eternal. My general is the Lord Celestant, and he has +1 wound and regains a wound every turn. And so basically, because I'm Stormcast, I can teleport in, and just as long as I'm 9 inches away from the enemy, I come in and go wherever I want. And my opponent for today, using his Destruction army, is Jeff. So why don't you tell me what's in your army, Jeff?
Alright, I got your pretty much net list mixed destruction. So my battle line is 3 units of 20 Night Goblins, all running Spear and Shield. 3 Fanatics, which I get to hide in whatever units I want. A Frost Lord on a Stonehorn. 2 Huskguards and Thunder Tusks. And a Night Goblin Shaman. As well as a Skull, which is my battalion, which is the Icebow Hunter. And 2 units of 2 Frost Sabers, which can, any hero phase, pop up wherever I want, 9 inches away from an enemy. And that's it.
It's a pretty solid list. And so as we said earlier, we're playing 3 Places of Power, which is 3 tokens in the middle of the board, and we have to get our characters onto them, and they score throughout the game to get us points to see who would win. Now, your allegiance is just Destruction, right?
Pure Generic. Destruction.
Any battalions?
Yeah, I got the 1 Skull, which is this guy, and the 2 Dogs. And everything else is just random units.
And who's your general, and what items did you put on him?
He's got the Talisman of Protection, allows me to ignore mortal wounds on a 4+. And then he is running with the Meteoric Hammer Blade, which is just a close combat 1 on a 5/6. Everyone within 3 inches suffers a mortal wound.
So we rolled for table side. Stormcast Eternals won, so I deployed my Prime in the Star Realm first.
You deployed most of your army in the Star Realm. I think I put my Skull off in their Winter Wasteland.
Yeah.
And then I think that's you throwing those...
Prosecutors down next, which is they're going to be on the board, and then their Paladins, which are part of their formation, are going to go in the Star Realm. So I'm at 2 deployments.
And I think I'm here taking my work or setting up my work phone call because we were playing, and I take a couple of conference calls. You'll see me pick up my phone with a headset.
I edited most of those out, so we should be good.
I throw down one of my Thunder Tusks just in the corner. We're playing 3 Places of Power, so I guess my plan here was just to kind of line up my Thunder Tusks on the outside 2 and put my Stonehorn right in the middle because that kind of gives him the most freedom to go wherever I want. And as you'll see, I'll just eventually bubble wrap him with goblins.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking is I'm going to put everything up except for my Adjudicators and some of my characters, because I do have the Knight Velexor, so I can teleport one of my units of Prosecutors and drop in the bomb. And so I'm putting all my Adjudicators to hit 1 objective, so that when you come onto it, I can just blast you. Now, we should say before the game starts, we played the scenario wrong for some reason. We played that you could move off the objectives in 3 Places of Power. It's been talked about on the podcast. Yeah, we know we did that wrong, but it is what it is. So I put all my Adjudicators on this flank just to I'm like, when he gets that objective, I'm going to kill one of those friggin' Stonehorns. And then everything else is up. The Velexor is in the bottom left corner, and he's getting ready to teleport in some Paladins. And so you're bubble wrapping, and those Night Goblins are really nasty when you bubble wrap. Why is that, Jeff?
Well, there's 20 of them, and I mean, even though they're on square bases, when I eventually rebase them to the 25 rounds, you can just, with 1 inch coherency, you can pretty much cover the entire large footprint of a model, and it allows me to keep you out of that 3 inches, because most, if your reach, you have to be within 3 inches to attack me, and you won't engage my Thunder Tusk, which allows me to move next turn, It allows me to keep my shooting up and get him into position where I need it to be. I didn't bubble wrap the one closest to us here. Just the way the building worked out here, it didn't make it easy enough. My plan was I wasn't too worried about if you were to come down there and hit that one Thunder Tusk on it with your first turn. The only reason I'm bubble wrapping is I'm kind of worried about that first turn assault with that hammer strike. And I think we're starting turn one now. I think we're done. You're just moving guys back. Yeah. Did you take first turn on this one? I think you took first turn here.
I did take first turn. I was looking for so I backed everything up. I'm like, I'm going to be out of threat range because I asked you what and I'm like, I'm going to sit back. I'm not going to chance anything. Not going to shoot. And then I'm going to, hopefully you don't get the double turn and then I can maybe get a double turn or something like that. And, I know how your army's so fast that I have to be on the board edge. Like I just can't be forward or I'm dead.
Yeah, and what you're seeing me here doing is I'm rolling for my surges, and I actually moved the surge, ran and moved my night goblins, and we realized I'm bringing them back now, so I'm taking it back. So it might make a difference for how runs work.
Yeah, that comes down to bubble wrap. I do that a lot when I play people. Is I make them do it separately because when you bubble wrap, you can actually screw yourself over.
Right. And the nice thing with the surge, though, is I can surge forward. And you saw there, I surged out of my bubble wrap with the Thunder Tusk, put the goblins behind. But what you'll see me do in my movement phase is I'll move and run with them. And again, because they have such with the running with their banner, because they get 2 inches to the run, they get 2 inches to the surge. I can make a hole with the surge, move my big guy up, and then with the move and run, I can bring the goblins back around into the front. And keep them, and then bring my guy into the rear. Usually, I'll still have a 4-inch gap in the rear where I have to move the big guy into because I want to get the goblins as far forward as possible. I know the big guys can move faster than them, so I move the goblins first. But that's a risk I'm willing to take, and I'll try to stretch the goblins as far back from that hole, kind of creating a little pathway that I move through, and it keeps you at out of that 9 inches. And you see I'm doing that here again. Bringing those goblins with the Stonehorn up, and again, I learned after a game with you last year, I need to make sure I don't let those Retributors get into my Stonehorn because they can one turn a Stonehorn with those mortal wounds, and I'm just keeping that bubble, keeping about 2 inches out of the Stonehorn, just trying to keep everything out here. Here I go moving and the goblins up. I got a really good run with them, so I'm able to kind of position them so I can get my big guy within 6 inches of objective and still kind of keep him at least the front of him wrapped and possibly the side wrapped from the my sort of charge here.
Yeah, well, people would have seen me nudge a model there. So what happened is when Jeff ran, I think his models were too close and his model wouldn't have fit. And then so the very important thing is when we play, we kind of talk about things. So we knew that he was making a gap, but for the sake of time, we're not going to sit there and be sticklers over measurement.
Yeah.
So now we're going to see.
Now we're rolling for priority.
Yeah, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I believe I won this roll.
Yeah. And I think you're just measuring for range here.
I'm trying to decide what I want to do, whether or not, because I wanted to give you, my thinking was I wanted to give you the double turn, and I was hoping that you wouldn't be able to kill me with the double turn. And what that does is it allows you, basically, you've played it, because I'm so far back, it allows you to play 2 turns of the game and do very little to my army. That's what I was thinking anyway, and trying to accomplish.
I'm just measuring. You know what? I never mind. I had top of turn here. I got the double turn here, and I was just checking ranges there from my 18-inch shooting and checking line of sights to your prosecutors there, and then I was checking.
Yeah, you have double turn though because I gave it to you. Yeah. I gave you double turn. Yeah, which is like kind of risky, but
you're trying to get the double turn yourself.
Trying to get the double turn and trying to mitigate the damage because my thinking was you're going to have to jump on the objectives, hold them this turn. And then we'll see how the game goes, but it gives me an opportunity to counter you. And if I get the double turn, I can theoretically shoot off a goblin unit and then charge in. So, yeah.
You see, here's that what I was talking about, how I make that gap in the back of the goblins there, just enough to put that Stonehorn in. And if I'm lucky enough, I can do that with the surge, and then with the move and run, I can close that gap in the rear. Also, you see, I brought the Stonehorn out because I'm gonna try to get that move and that charge, because this is still in the surge phase here. So now here I'm just closing the gap, getting those goblins out, and I'm basically trying to put it so that you can't get a hero within 6 inches. The nice thing with my army is I can jump on the objectives first turn, score them, and then ring them with enough goblins that you'll have a hard time getting in there if you wanted to put a single hero in there. So I can kind of hold I'm not actually scoring with the goblins, but they are preventing you from getting into those objectives. And now I'm getting, I mean, the Stonehorn here, I treat him like a bullet. I point him in one direction, and I hope the dice treat me nice enough that I roll high enough that he gets in and he starts causing trouble.
Yeah, and it's and if he gets in there, those archers are dead. Pretty quickly, actually.
The one thing I did notice is I did keep, the Thunder Tusks kind of rely on each other to be within 18 inches for their healing ability. Kind of gives them a bonus to their roll. They are more than 18 inches apart, and that has come back to bite me in the butt on some games before. And eventually I'll have to either, give up one for the dead or start, forcing them to move closer to that middle of the board there.
So here's one of the biggest moves of the game. It was a mistake on my part. Is my prosecutors in the top right-hand corner were just shot off the board.
Yeah, I hit at 6 mortal wounds.
I did not know that was a thing. I was literally like, that was a mistake. Right now I'm kicking myself because I'm like, I needed those guys to live. I needed to teleport in, and because I was going to use my Velexor to bring them kind of to the middle, put everything in my army into your Stonehorn, your general, kill him, and then I could basically jump into the rest of your goblins. But that was a mistake. You shot him off, killed all 3, and now my retaliation's going to be a turn late. So.
Yeah, I mean, they had 6 auto mortal wounds with 2 wounds each. I got to in range with them with that surge move. I didn't even need my move to actually hit them. But you just saw how fast the Stonehorn moves. I went from a little bit back from center table to almost your back board edge in one turn with moving, surging, and a charge.
And now I'm running and charging.
And running, because he can run and he has to charge, but I always want to charge, and I'm just clearing off archers there. Here you're coming in, and I think you maybe do 1 wound, if that. But I pulled one whole unit off, and I think 2 guys from another unit there.
2 full units, actually. But yeah, and a guy from another unit. Because I had 4 units, and I only have 2 left.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he does D6 mortal wounds with a charge, and there's me serving coffee. He does D6 mortal wounds with a charge, and then he just, he's got 4 attacks, all with Ren 1 or Ren 2, and multiple damage each, so he can put the hurt on, especially on multi-wound models. He can really bump out the damage if he gets a charge in.
So now the big debate is, Stormcast, do I bring my prime in? Do I try to grab the middle objective and pull him in? Do I drop my hammer strike? I'm kind of just in the back foot. The game, to me, feels like it's in a really rough place right now. I got to bring them in. I can't go within my normal 3 inches with my hammer strike. I got to be 9 inches away, which means it's unlikely to get a charge off. And with the fanatics, it's like more than unlikely. It's almost impossible to get a charge off because they'll just charge out and block me. So I'm really stuck here. Whether I bring the prime in, do I blow my load, try to protect my backfield? Do I go and try to pull you back away and hope that I can maybe kill something?
Yeah, and then that's the great thing about the fanatics is I will put 1 fanatic in each unit, and it interrupts that 1 charge for that 1 unit that I don't want getting in there. It gives me that extra turn. So if I didn't want your prime getting in there, I'd countercharge your prime, and I'm giving up the fanatic, big deal, but it stops that prime for 1 turn, or it'll stop that Gordrak or that Archeon for that 1 turn when I don't want him in there. Yeah. And I have more breathing space. If you multi-charge me with lots of units, then I have a problem. But usually it's here's Chris walking in front of the camera.
I have to do what I have to do, man. Gotta do what I gotta do.
It's that 1 turn. There's you putting some retributors down there
and they're definitely close. And I think I'm telling you to measure them when you got a minute. Yeah. But so the one reason I brought the Prime down this turn is that you screwed up your bubble wrap, and if he charged and made it, he could actually strike the character.
Yeah, I was too close with the goblins on the one side there, and I didn't pull them out enough. And which can happen. So that's you gotta be careful when you're doing bubble wrap. And you got that reach, you got that 2-inch reach, I think, on him.
Yeah, and your goblins are an inch base generally on a 25 mil, so I could definitely hit them. And otherwise, maybe if I wouldn't have had that opportunity, I think I would have just left him up for another turn, just to get the 2 more attacks. There you go. So I declare my charge. The Fanatic comes out, makes contact with the Prime, ruins my day, because now you can basically fix your bubble wrap. I fail my other charges. My Paladins, you kind of bump him forward.
The closest screen, bring another Fanatic out. He fails his charge, but at least I put him in front. So, if you wanted the charge there, you could have made an easy charge, but I think you failed that charge too. I mean, that's also a risk with the Fanatics too. If you're 9 inches away and I put the one out, I'm now at an 8-inch charge with a Fanatic. And if I fail my charge, I've given you an extra inch, or usually probably an extra 2 inches, because he can come an inch out from me, and then he's got an extra inch on his base. So I've now taken your 9-inch charge to a 7-inch charge, but that's what happens.
And so we just rolled for priority, and I did not get the double turn, which I was really hoping for, because I was going to tie down your Stonehorn in the back corner there with Unit of Archers, and then I was just going to put all my Paladins in. But now, alas, I did not get the roll that I needed, and the Beastclaw Raiders are going to retaliate. I dropped my load and did very little.
Yeah, you got your two heroes over on this corner, and with it being a hero mission, I said I'm not going to go. I can't squeeze through those archers there to get to that one hero there, so I'm going to try to move around. Just again using that surge, using his move and run. They're so fast.
Yeah, now the goblins are coming back. They're going to tie up my paladins, which is it's not insulting, but it's like these paladins that super characters, 40 points each, are now fighting night goblins or being blocked by night goblins. It's kind of funny. So I think you moved back there, and then you're like, yeah, I don't need to fight you. I can just bubble wrap.
I'm just gonna bubble wrap because your Prime has fly, so he could have easily jumped over that bubble wrap there and got into my Thunder Tusk, and I still. I'm feeling pretty confident at this point, but the last thing I want to do is get overconfident. And there you go. There I'm measuring that 18 inches. So I'm measuring to make sure I get within 18 inches of my guy. I just flip his base around, nudge him back a little bit with the surges and the moves. And now I'm within 18 inches because I think you hurt him a little bit with the Comet. And I'm gonna start trying to heal him up.
Yeah, that's the healing, man, drives me crazy. I also that's one thing too. You're mentioning you don't want to do anything silly, because I do have another unit of prosecutors coming in. They're not very great, but they might be able to tie something down and allow me to get a cheeky objective point or two. So it's not looking good for the Stormcast at this point. Your goblins there are forming a horseshoe of death around me. It's kind of.
I'm not even going to bother charging with them. They're just gonna sit there and they're just going to keep you from moving in. I moved my Stonehorn again over to just kind of be in the middle, because you had your two heroes there that were about 7 inches apart, and with the size of the base of the Stonehorn, if I get the base in right, I can actually tag both of them.
Yeah.
And D6 mortal wounds on one, and then if that doesn't kill it, then I can just assign some damage from one attack and all the rest of the attacks on the other one, and hopefully tag out 2 heroes in one go.
And it's good that you went after them and tagged them, because I still had my Velexor's teleport banner, so I could have jumped one of my characters across the board on an objective if I was able to clear one. So I think that's a good call. You get rid of both characters, primarily the banner guy, and then I'm stuck in a corner, and I can't actually win the mission at this point. Because and I've won this mission the same way. You play 3 places of power. You get one character on one objective for one turn. And you kill all the other guy's characters. It doesn't matter what he does to you. You still win the game, right? So.
Yep. I mean, I was a little hesitant to leave that one objective so wide open in the middle of the table there, but I felt I needed to kind of at least tie you up, at least distract your Prime over there for a bit. I think you had some prosecutors come down behind me there, or did that later turn? I'm just moving some goblins over there. Completely forgot about my Night Goblin Shaman, who's been hiding in the ruins in my deployment zone the entire game.
Yeah.
he's there for a first turn to get a Mystic Shield off of my Stonehorn, and that's about it.
Yeah, it makes him really effective, and he's another cheap character that can kind of hold the backfield objective in other scenarios if you need him to. So yeah, now I'm just like, it's my turn. I'm like, I'm in trouble. So I actually use my banner. You fail to kill him. I'm like, I'm gonna get all the objectives I can this turn. Pop him up, grab that objective. I'm gonna jump my prime in and my paladins and try to clear off that whole flank over there. But you did a really nice job of bubble wrapping me in the top. And I don't think I can actually complete a charge unless I roll very, very, very high. Then I bring in my prosecutors to clear the middle objective, because I needed to charge and get around the night goblins to make contact with you. But I still have to be somewhat away in front of the night goblin 3 inches, so I got to get like a 9 or 10 charge, which shouldn't be hard with a prime, but it's kind of wild. So now I'm like, we go right into charge phase. My shooting's basically nothing. Your night goblin stops my prosecutors. Prime does roll high enough, goes in to fight your character there, and then the paladins go in to kill the goblins. So, and then the other paladins go in to kill the goblins. So I'm like, if this turn goes well for me, I could potentially kill one character and 2 units of goblins, which would really help me out. My Velexor did fail his 9-inch charge. I would have liked him to charge back into the goblins and help me out, but it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. And this is the mention, like you can see at the top left there, my skull, my hunter, and my dogs are still off the table. I hadn't brought them in yet, and my plan was to keep them off, because they can pop in anywhere in my hero phase, 9 inches away from you. And if I ran into that one where you had that one hero with a couple wounds left on an objective, if I needed those extra points to pop them up where I needed them to be, take out that one hero, score that objective, and get me those extra points. But as you can see, I think we're on turn 4 now.
Yeah, my turn marker still says 1. Oh, shame on me.
Turn 4, and I haven't needed them. I think I bring him in turn 4, turn 5, and it's just because I didn't want him off the table.
Yeah, even here, the paladins, they don't do so hot with the goblins because of the nets. So they actually don't do as much damage as I would like them to do. And waiting to see what the prime does. And I'm like, I need luck. I need my dice not to fail me. I need to remove as much as I can this turn, because that Stonehorn, he's far enough away that I might have a turn to avoid him and clean up, and that's very important because he can wipe out any unit he wants. And the prime gets murdered.
I beat him with a Stonehorn or Thunder Tusk, which is wrong. The thing with Thunder Tusk is they're hard to kill because they got 12 wounds at a 4-up save, which isn't it's not awesome, but they're -1 to hit.
Yeah, it's good. They're good, and they can do tons of damage at range, lots of mortal wounds, quite effective.
So you've lost your prime at this point. I still have 2 Thunder Tusks and my Stonehorn. Your one Velexor there is just kind of sitting there, and I think the one Thunder Tusk that's near him is still at full wound, so he can just look at him on a 2+, do 6 mortal wounds or I can get the charge in with the Stonehorn and do D6 mortal wounds. So
yes.
At this point, I'm thinking I got the game pretty much in the bag. We're just finishing it off for to roll dice and have fun.
Yeah, so you've won for sure. Yeah.
I'm bringing the goblins up there because he's thinking he still had one prosecutor hiding behind that ruin there. It charged them.
Well, if this was a tournament, you'd be playing for the victory points, which is in ITC would be like the tiebreaker. So that'd be pretty. That's what we'd be both kind of playing for. See how many points we can get. But the game is done. Spoiler: Jeff wins. He's actually already scored more points than I could ever score in the game. So we can go right to our closing thoughts. What was your takeaway on your list? Are you happy with the goblins and happy with this list?
I'm happy with this list. I know a lot of guys are running it with the Cunning Ruck, and this is more of an old school way to run Beastclaw Raiders. It's fun. It definitely, there's just a huge jump with the Stonehorn. It's fun to play. It really protects the guys because I found I needed the extra goblins for the extra model count for those other missions. But 3 places of power. With this list, that's my mission to lose. I can jump on those objectives really quickly. My heroes are really tough. So if I three places of power is my mission. If I lose it, it means I've either done something really bad or I've run into the exact hard counter to my army.
Yeah, I was like, if I had more paladin, I needed a big unit of paladin so when I came in I could guarantee something died. The way I played is I kind of spread out too much, and in one-on-one fights with your shooting and mortal wounds, you're actually able to drag my units down relatively quickly, which is kind of rough. And the Prime just always dies. He comes in, he always dies. I still love the guy, but like, jeez, if he just had like 2 more wounds or something, because he just always dies that one turn before I need him to do something glorious. Like if he lives one more turn, it's like he goes in and he just executes some stuff. But I felt, I got brutalized in this mission. So
Yeah, and then there's your retributors down there. You're just clearing up goblins, but they're staring down the end of two I think at this point full wound thunder tusks, which that's 12 mortal wounds there, which that's no bueno for them.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance. So what do players, when you said the Cunning Ruck was more popular, what do you mean by that?
So there's a standard list out now with the mixed destruction where they're running the Cunning Ruck with about 40 arrow boys and double Stonehorns, which it gives the list the shooting from the Cunning Ruck, and then it gives it that real forward close combat threat with 2 Frost Lord on Stonehorns. 2 of those guys, they're like a cannonball.
Yeah.
You point them, you shoot them, and they hit something hard. And with 2 of them, you've got that redundancy, and then you have the Cunning Ruck to back it up with. They can say midfield, and then they can shoot, and they can put enough wounds on the things that will hurt you. Because typically the things that I'm scared about with Stonehorns are other monsters, things that do multiple damage or of high rend. And the Cunning Ruck, especially with their they get that -1 rend against monsters. You can point them at that one unit that'll hurt me, take that unit out of the game, and then throw your Stonehorns forward with abandon and just go for it.
Yeah, for sure. And then shooting's always nice too, because you can clear those bubble wraps and then get your Stonehorns into the thick of the fight a lot faster, which is, I guess, not good for your opponent, but good for you. So
good for me. And surprise, you can see there, I still have a Fanatic alive. Usually they don't survive the game.
Yeah, I got brutalized, and there's nothing I could do. There's a
Stonehorn coming in to clear up the last of the Retributors there, just because.
Yeah, so I'm going to get tabled.
On our side to sit over there, and there they go. Those goblins, there's 20 goblins there, and I think I ended up with like 4 still at the end of the game. I'm surprised how long they held out at. And that game right there.
Yeah, so I got tabled. Big win to Jeff. Woohoo! Congratulations. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle report. We were a bit insightful, even though it wasn't a close game. I just got completely destroyed. But that's okay. That's part of the fun of the game, right? You live and you learn. And I think we both learned lessons from this one. Yep. So with that, if you want more of our battle reports, subscribe and like this video and comment below. We have other styles that we do, but this is one that is really good when we have other things going on in the background. It allows us to kind of have phone calls going, have people walking in and out of the room, and then we can just voice over it so it's not just a lot of noise. The other thing is visit CanHammer.ca for more information about our podcast and any events that we're running. And with that, have a good one, and thanks for the game, Jeff.
Thank you.